All right, welcome back, Arc Nation. This is Rick Bloom, and I am here with head coach Chet Mason of the boys basketball program. This is year 9 for Coach Mason, and we're going to get a chance to learn a little bit more about him than you maybe have in other episodes. So buckle on in, and let's see where we go with this. So, Coach, tell me a little bit, if we go back in your career, Mr. Ohio, all-Ohio high school player, on to Miami of Ohio. You went through your playing career, also spent some time in the camps of the Lakers and the Cavaliers, I believe. Played in Europe and internationally. When it came time for you to wrap up your career, how did you know you wanted to make the transition into coaching?
First of all, thank you for having me on this amazing show, Arc Nation. SEL District, much love to everybody. To answer that question, I didn't know. I never dreamed about being a coach.
Okay.
You know, it was the I was gonna play basketball forever mentality.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got done, it was kind of like what am I do next? And so I had some opportunities with the NBA and I had some opportunities with college basketball, but I stopped playing. I retired early so I can be with my family.
Sure.
And so that was the main factor of me retiring. So that's when a high school job, presented itself. I mean, I thought it was. I mean, I didn't know nothing. I didn't know coaching.
Okay.
I had no experience coaching high school basketball or at no level. But I mean, again, I was a point guard for so many years, playing from middle school, high school to professional, to college, to the pros. It was like
Sure. I
was the extension of the coach. So I went straight into the role without. I don't think a lot of hiccups.
Okay. So as you look at your brush teams and we talk about time flying, and man, you're 9 already, for a career that you didn't see yourself doing. What are the core values? What are some of the things that you look for in a player to be successful at brush?
Discipline, definitely discipline. Hard work ethic.
Okay.
Just high character young men. I can go on, but definitely the character, the discipline, and the work ethic is 3 of the things that definitely I emphasize on the young men that come through here, because now that the brush, since I've been here, and it's not talking about nobody before, but most of the kids that come here now and come out and try out for basketball have dreams and aspirations of playing college basketball.
Sure.
And so now you talking about something that I did, I lived, and we've been fortunate and blessed enough to have a lot of young men come through this program to play college basketball. So, and all of them end up having some of the same things: the high character, the work ethic, the discipline to get to that level.
Okay.
So those are some of the things I look at when I get freshmen or guys that come over.
Okay, so that was a nice segue. That was going to be my next question. Was so many of our guys have gone on to achieve successful careers at the various levels of colleges, Division 1, 2, and 3, and that's something that you've built a history on now. This goes back years and years.
Right.
So is there something that you kind of do? Is there a point in their careers where maybe you become sort of a counselor to them as to make that next step?
That's funny you say that, because I mean, Elmore he was the MAC Player of the Week. Talked to him this morning. Big John Hughley team is ranked 19th now in the AP polls.
Okay.
Talked to him this morning. Talked to Wolfolk who's starting that record. Like, it don't never stop. This relationship is forever. Once I coach you, and we don't build through basketball, we build through life.
Sure.
So those guys, those young men, they're little brothers for me. Like, and that's life. And them the guys that didn't. Some of them went to college and they're not in college no more. The John Drapers, the Tyler Williams, the other Tyler Williams of the world, still rapport and relationship with those guys. So it's funny you say that. But coming into high school basketball, I never, and don't get it wrong, I never say, no, we want to win.
Sure.
I would love to win. I'm a competitor. I want to win for the young men. But my agenda is not winning games. My agenda is taking boys and helping them become men, and then helping them to succeed at the next level. And so I stay in that realm for me. And again, every coach is different, Some say, hey, I got to win a state championship, and there ain't nothing wrong with that.
Sure.
But mine is, I want to help develop these young boys into men, and then the ones that go to college, I want them to be prepared for college athletics, being a student athlete.
Well, Coach, you must be, we are on the same wavelength today, because that was going to be my next question.
Okay.
Was you've been quoted as saying,
Right.
yes, the wins are important, but they are not necessarily top notch, because for a great many of these players, they won't go on to the next level or maybe professional.
Right.
So you need to set them up for life, basically, in addition to basketball.
Right, and that's just, and when I say the development, that's developing to be a young man.
Okay.
Now the sports, basketball is secondary, but being a man, high character, and a person that's a student, get your education, all these different things come before the sport. And so that's what we try to install in our young men now. And I mean, not bragging or boasting, but it's working.
Yes, it is.
It's working.
Yes, it is. So tell me a little bit, you've been heavily involved with Team USA and coaching a lot of times in the summer or maybe some other times of the year. Does that help you bring what you learned there, bring that to Brush, or vice versa? Do those play off each other?
It's definitely do. I learned so. I'm at the table with so many great coaches. Like it's unbelievable. And then you get to go compete and win a gold medal on the national. I mean, not national, but on the world level, right? And so, and I'm learning from the other two coaches that I'm with, because these guys are very successful in their programs and they're very successful competing at the world level. So a lot of stuff I bring back, a lot of not just drills, the basketball stuff, just stuff pertaining to life, the circle of truth, and the accountability pieces that I learned from there to pass on to our young men. And it helps. It helps a lot. Like some of these guys, well, most of our guys will never probably have an opportunity to go suit up for a USA basketball, but they don't know that the same stuff that those guys getting, the LeBrons and like even the high school kids, but even the older kids, because we got a handbook, a USA basketball handbook. Some of the stuff that's being told to those guys, I'm delivering it to my guys at this level. So it definitely helps, and I mean, ain't no wrong with winning a gold medal.
Okay.
And we gonna have two this summer, because we playing the World Games in Istanbul, Turkey.
That's
summer, so.
Fantastic. So let's shift gears a little bit, talk about this year's team. As I look at it from an outside perspective, it seems like we've come to the end where we always could count on the 6'10s and the 6'8s and the bigger type lineup. You need to go with a whole different style of coaching now, because we're not as tall in the past. And so how did you approach that when you look down the road and you see, okay, got to adjust some things here?
Sure, just my experience. I always preach experience is the best teacher. I played for so many different type of coaches, different styles. Like sometimes we didn't have the big man, so we had to play 5-out dribble drive basketball. Sometimes we had the big man, so we had to play the triangle, or we had to play two bigs in and 3 out. Like it's just different. And so with the group we have now, it's a guard heavy group, and so you go 4-on-1. You put one guy on the inside and have 4 guys on the outside, and you got to play fast.
Okay.
With a smaller group of players, I believe, just for us, I'm not speaking to nobody else, but for us, I think we have to play faster and up-tempo, more up-tempo basketball.
So we're going to see a lot of defensive pressure, right? Looking for turnovers, and a lot of transition ball, probably, right? Not as much maybe half-court offense where it slows down a little bit, because we gotta run past these guys.
Right. So DCO.
Okay.
And that defense create offense. So
okay.
We harping on that this year, because if we play defense and we get it, they shoot a shot or whatever, we secure the rebound, we off to the races.
Sure.
And so again, we want to play fast. The first game, we're learning. You know what I'm saying? First game is first game. So we show periods of where, like, wow, this team get out and they're pretty fast, and sometimes, and being there so early, we show some getting stagnant a little bit, slowing down, which we don't want to play like that. But first game, we're gonna take that and we're gonna build.
Speaking of the first game, Arc Nation, we just played yesterday, got the season off and rolling, and played a very tough opponent in Lutheran West, who was just, one shot away from being Division II champions last year. So definitely you come out of the gate playing the good competition. We did come up short by a few points at the end. So what do you tell the kids as we prepare for Euclid tomorrow night, when you have those tough losses? What kind of message do you give to the guys?
I tell them experience is the best teacher. They experience, because some guys never been in that situation.
Sure.
You got a gym full of people. You playing top 3 or 4 team in the state in Division II. You know what I mean? And you hit some adversity, and so the teaching point, basically, I can say words, but the teaching point really comes from the experience, being out there in that situation. And so, what you do is, what we're going to do and what we did, we point out some of the good stuff and we point out some of the bad stuff. We're going to watch film today and we're going to learn from some of this things that happened last night that we can get better at.
Sure.
And some of the things that we, point out some of the things that we're good at, and then we're going to forget about that game. Because we got an opponent tomorrow, and they play totally different from the team we just played.
Sure.
Last night. So that's just how it goes.
Okay.
Like you on to the next.
Yes.
Like
got to have a short memory, right?
Because you're right back at it.
All right. So in wrapping this up, I'd like to ask a little bit of a fun question here. Now that you have had plenty of experience as a player and as a coach, what would Coach Chet Mason say to the player Chet Mason in terms of some advice or, some coaching strategy that you'd give yourself when you were a player?
I like to use that you climb the top of the mountain, so you get at the top just to be at the bottom of another mountain. And so I would tell my young self that, because I'm gonna brag on myself. I was
you should.
In high school, I was Mr. Basketball.
Yep.
I was a guy, and I was recognized wherever gym I went into, like, oh, he's a guy. And I think that kind of took away from some of the work that I should have been putting in, getting in the gym shooting, because when I got to the NBA, the thing was he got to be able to shoot, and I wasn't shooting like I was supposed to. So I would tell the young Chet, listen, man, I know you're at the top of this mountain, but look up. You just at the bottom of the other one. So
Sure.
now you got to keep climbing. And so that's a good one.
All right.
And I also tell myself, keep filling my cup. I tell Elmer this. I said, Elmer, you got to fill your cup every day. Like Pop said this, and I learned this from USA Basketball. You take a cup, you got to fill it every day. And what happens is, as you continue to work, and you work, and you work, now when it's time to go and it's time the lights come on, now your cup can be overflowing.
Sure.
And so now you ain't just scoring 20 and 30 points and being the all-state first team and all that because you woke up and you hoop one day. No, that's because you've been filling your cup every day, and then it start overflowing.
Okay. Well, Coach, that is some all-state philosophy in my book. And Arc Nation, I hope you enjoy Coach Mason's philosophies and perspectives on things.